concise tapestry of technical insights and key accomplishments. It would be remiss of me, as a surviving member of the selection committee, a committee of professionals who were engaged at the very inception of this undertaking, not to acknowledge at this historic juncture the contributions of the late national stalwarts, Mr. Jeffrey Cato, Mr. Morris Slater, Mr. Bentley Brown. May they all continue to rest in peace. On July 1st, 2022, 1,212 days ago, by the inclusive count, at the groundbreaking ceremony, delivering the project overview, the key message I delivered was, much work has been done and an intense period lies ahead. Today, I echo vibrating stakes. In this moment of history, tell it in every community, the gates of this modern port stands wide. A new chapter in our national story begins. The seed of an idea for modern port facilities in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has matured into a transformative reality. This achievement reflects vision, strategic foresight, leadership, strong partnerships, and unwavering commitment to delivering a climate-resilient, future-ready cargo port built on reclaimed lands and engineered to withstand the tides of change and shocks of climate. The strategic objectives of this project were to improve infrastructure and working conditions, to stimulate economic growth and trade, to support livelihoods and to reduce poverty, to enhance safety and climate resilience. 3 of these 4 objectives have been achieved. With the operations commencing, economic and trade impacts will follow in due course. An investment exceeding $720 million was committed to this project for project preparation, infrastructure works, engineering and construction-related services, project management, institutional strengthening, goods procurement, and other project support. This was made possible through loan financing from the Caribbean Development Bank, grant support from the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, and resources secured by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including loan from the Exim Bank of Taiwan and loans secured by the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority. Aecon Construction Group, our contractor, executed over 1.6 million work hours over 42 months, had an excellent safety record. There were no environmental incidents, and Aecon introduced the celebrated Women in Construction program. The decision to retain Selhorn Engineering Company as the supervision consultant was well-founded and yield the intended outcomes. Building on Mott MacDonald's conceptual work, Selhorn prepared the feasibility studies and the front-end engineering designs for this, the largest design and build project ever to be implemented in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they also performed the contractual role of engineer during the construction. We acknowledge the efforts of Selhorn's director, Norbert Peets, who unfortunately is not here with us today, and Mr. Herman Krill, and all of the Selhorn team members present and paying attention to this broadcast. Ministerial oversight was provided by the Ministry of Seaports, first under the Honorable Prime Minister, then under Minister Julian Francis, and now under Minister Benava Brown, and supported by the Board Steering Committee, the chairperson, Mrs. Laura Anthony Brown, and the Project Implementation Unit team. I pause here to recognize that the top 3 female administrators on this project are women. Ms. Laura Anthony Brown, Permanent Secretary Yvette Pompey, and our esteemed Minister, Benava Brown. The contribution of all stakeholders who played a role in this endeavor is duly recognized. Resettlement actions for affected fisherfolk, residents, vendors, and shop owners were comprehensive with gender and socio-economic safeguards embedded. The informal Rose Place beachfront community was resettled with minimal livelihood disruption. all cases were settled, and for the former residents, improved living conditions and generational assets resulted at no cost to the project-affected person. This project contributed to the advancement of our nation's effort towards the sustainable goal of poverty reduction. The infrastructure before us. It's a resilient, future-ready gateway designed to enhance durability, climate adaptability, operational efficiency, and an example of environmental stewardship. With contracts for the works and supervision signed on May 3rd of 2022, commencement of works was on May 12th of 2022, and the first thing that we did was the Central Water and Sewage Authority's sewer line was rerouted outside of the port's footprint as the first major construction activity on site. This improved outfall infrastructure, safeguarded water quality, into the very foundation of our project and was completed by April of 2023. Then came the exciting phase of the land reclamation. Using sand from a self-replenishing source, we established a 380-meter by 130-meter footprint within 5 weeks and 4 days. Upon this foundation, we built a port capable of handling 56,000 20-foot equivalent units annually. The 380-meter quay, with a draft of minus 12.5 meters, allows for multiple vessels to board simultaneously. It is elevated for sea level rise and engineered for. This facility replaces aged and inadequate infrastructure for these times and strengthens our national resilience. Hurricane Beryl in 2024 was the first real-world test of this facility, and it validated our designs. The 25-meter wide apron enables efficient container operations with mobile harbor cranes, and you can see them on the outside. And at the same time, this will ensure efficient horizontal transport by terminal trailer units between the boat and the yard. This arrangement will surely improve the efficiency of vessel offloading by the modern port operating company. The terminal layout includes container storage, break bulk and vehicle areas, reefer racks, maintenance zones, and integrated systems for lighting, signage, closed-circuit television, wireless internet connectivity, electricity, and potable water. The flexible pavement will reduce the wear on our mobile equipment, and it simplifies future runoff is treated to ensure that no contaminated water from this facility enters directly into the sea. The architecture, it elevates the Kingstown break bulk and maintenance garage, the terminal gatehouses and substation are all aesthetically pleasing to look at. The administrative buildings brings all port operation stakeholders under one roof. Energy-saving lighting and cooling, water-efficient installations, and building monitoring systems ensures efficiency. Atop the administrative building is a 112 kilowatt solar PV system which generates renewable energy. Safety and security is reinforced through the use of intercoms, smoke detectors, fire alarms, card access control, while robust IT system design with cybersecurity in mind further strengthens the operations. You would agree with me, this port also has the most beautiful landscape space in Kingstown to complement the buildings. Isn't that true? And under the stewardship of the police and contributions of other agencies of state, the integration of traffic into what is expected to be an expanded foreshore road will proceed. The fleet of equipment, and I saw the Prime Minister, I was wondering if he was driving or being driven in the container scanner. But the fleet of equipment, which was efficiently and timely procured by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority and transferred to the site last weekend, will improve operational efficiency. It will strengthen border security and it will reduce emissions. This port is a model of sustainable infrastructure. It's a pillar for disaster resilience and a testament to responsible national development. This project has been delivered within contractual time, with just 5 months extension on the timeline announced at the groundbreaking. The quality of the work is evident for all to see. And this is an important one. When all is accounted for, by every indication, the total amount spent to date is tracking very close to the original EC 650 million, which is less than the total EC 720 million in funding budgeted and/or approved for this project. The point there is, government actually saved while implementing the port modernization project. We have to clap for that. Yeah? And as of January 2025, there were no unresolved contractual claims on the port modernization project. This is an impressive report card for the second largest capital project ever implemented in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in partnership with the Caribbean Development Bank and the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Fund. Over the implementation of this project, EC 135 million has been directly retained in the local economy. Cumulatively, more than 500 Vincentians had the opportunity for direct employment with the contractor over the past 42 months, including 31 women. Local employment consistently hovered near 45% of the workforce on site for the duration of construction. With all of the positive, we have also had formidable challenges. There was the COVID-19 pandemic, there was the Lasso explosive eruptions, there was Hurricane Beryl, supply chain disruptions, cost escalations. The project team responded with agility, redesigning, reinforcing, negotiating, and recommitting. We did not merely solve problems, we embodied resilience in action. When decluttering was observed, the Honorable Prime Minister, within a few days, assured the nation that rectification costs would fall within the contractor's obligation. That assurance holds true. The government's team contractual management on this issue deserves the highest commendation. On the upside also, nature also played its part, replenishing the Argyle Borough source used to reclaim this extension of Kingstown and extension to the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Honorable Prime Minister, the maps for this country needs to be redrawn. Looking ahead, the operational phase marks the beginning of a broader renaissance. The port will catalyze urban transformation from Rose Place to the Kingstown Cruise Terminal. The delivery of this infrastructure is not the end, it is in fact the ignition. Beyond physical infrastructure, the port modernization project also modernized governance. The formation of the modern port operating company separates the operations from the regulatory functions, and the regulatory functions which will now be performed by the Port Authority. It ushered in a new era of excellence while preserving employee status and benefits. I take this moment, and I can't see her because the lights is in my eyes, to publicly thank Ms. Laura Anthony Brown, a humble patriot, an exemplary servant, whose development foresight and talent cultivation were instrumental. And I dare say, what a woman who can spot talent, give talent a space to grow. What a lady. Minister of Urban Development, Minister Bernard Brown, Permanent Secretary Pompey, and the implementation teams, you have delivered a crown jewel. But Minister Francis, I think I saw him. Again, I can't see because the light's in my eye. But Minister Francis, your steadfast support was invaluable. As a matter of fact, is invaluable. Though we did not meet your 2024 target that you set at the groundbreaking, I hope you remember, we arrive at this milestone with just cause and in time for our nation's 46th independence anniversary. Yeah. Honorable Prime Minister, now, when I reviewed the groundbreaking tape, you were correct. Because when Minister Francis said delivery in 2024, you said, no, Julian, 2025. You were correct. And the delivery is, in fact, 2025. But under your leadership, the vision for a modern port became a mandate. It was our mandate to get this facility done. And that mandate became legacy. With this, the second of our nation's largest capital project delivered, St. Vincent is strategically positioned to seize future opportunities. Thank you very much, and with immense pride, happy 46th.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together once more for a very insightful young man, Linsky Douglas. Linsky, we are immensely proud of you, and you have done an excellent job and have truly set the tone for the rest of the interactions here this evening. Now, the build-out of this project attracted local, regional, and international expertise. One such is Selhorn Investment, independent consultants out of Germany, whose responsibility it was to monitor the construction of the port. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to invite to the lectern to address us Mr. Quincy James, the Deputy Resident Engineer of Selhorn. Please put your hands together and welcome him. Let us show him the Vincy love.
Thank you. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, big book. Thank you very much. I'll try my best to follow Zelensky's speech as best as I can. Thank you very much. I'll adopt the protocol established by the Masters of Ceremony. Good evening, everyone. Today I bring to you remarks as a representative of the supervision consultant on the port modernization project on behalf of our director, Mr. Norbert Peets, who unavoidably could not join us in person at today's opening ceremony. It is with immense satisfaction and deep national pride that I stand here before you today as a member of the talented and dedicated team that successfully delivered a modern cargo port to my homeland, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I am also honored to represent Selhorn, an engineering firm with a remarkable corporate history that reflects a deep heritage of dedication characterized by authentic and continuous innovation. This tradition is continually being enriched and defined by our employees who hail from more than 20 different countries. They are dedicated to perpetuating Selhorn's success narrative by consistently meeting and surpassing the most stringent quality and innovation standards. Our company's global reach and expertise are underscored by our track record of over 40,000 national and international projects in all sectors of civil engineering. For Selhorn, our involvement in the Kingstown Port Modernization Project began in 2018 with the execution of the final feasibility study, encompassing technical, financial, and economical viability, as well as social and environmental impacts and climate resilience. These studies, already complex in nature, were conducted during a global and local adversity, namely the COVID-19 pandemic
and the eruption of the Lasufre volcano. Despite these challenges, the project team pressed forward, developing the front-end engineering design and subsequently tendering the works internationally, which resulted in Aecon emerging as the contractor. Typically, infrastructure projects attract the most attention during the construction phase. When heavy equipment is visible, tradesmen and women are actively engaged, and progress is physically observed day by day. However, before one grain of sand was delivered to the Kingstown Port Modernization Project's construction site, success depended on a clear development, prerequisite technical studies in conjunction with financial partnerships, all of which culminated into the delivery of St. Vincent's second largest capital project. The commencement of the construction phase marked a significant milestone for all involved. Zellhorn was retained as the supervising consultant with responsibilities which include contract administration, monitoring and reporting progress, ensuring construction adheres to the specified standards and requirements, and an active participation in all project-related matters. As we now witness before our very own eyes, the new cargo port encompasses not only the terminal itself, but also supporting infrastructure that enhances the functionality of Kingstown. Key components include realignment of a 1.5-kilometer offshore sewer line that originates from the CWSA intake tank, seaward reclamation, stormwater drainage system, a new Vinlek electrical substation with a generator and transformer for the port, a PV system that feeds power back into the Vinlex grid, Foreshore Road reconstruction and upgrades, parking facilities, a 380-meter quay wall with a draft of 12.5 meters, able to accommodate 2 vessels each up to 150 meters in length simultaneously. A customs and administrative building with a total floor area of approximately 40,000 square feet, a container freight station with a total floor area of approximately 17,000 square feet, a workshop and maintenance building with a total floor area of approximately 16,000 square feet, a breakbulk building with a floor area of approximately 10,000 square feet, and additional infrastructure including 30-meter high mast lights, a seawater firefighting system which can suppress any fire on the port, and reefer racks for stacking up to 3 containers high. Challenges are inevitable in any major construction project. It would be unrealistic to expect a development of this scale to proceed without a few speed bumps. While most issues were resolved without impact to cost or schedule, the passage of Hurricane Beryl in 2024 did affect progress. Considering the risk of building a port in the Caribbean, particularly annual hurricane season and its associated storm surges, it is a remarkable achievement that the works were only suspended once during the construction phase, and this occurred during the passage of Hurricane Beryl and its subsequent aftermath. As the supervising consultant, we oversaw the repairs to the clutch sheet piles, which resulted in a delay to the project completion. The quay wall was inspected, modeled, results analyzed, and repair methodology eventually adopted. This involved underwater steel plate welding, underwater concrete placement, and recompaction of the replaced fill material, all of which are standard engineering solution that conforms to the standards and design requirements of the project. And now, we arrive at this moment, the beginning of the operational phase of a landmark infrastructure project that has transformed SVG. Not only has it expanded our landmass and illuminated Kingstown night skies, but it has delivered a modern cargo facility that will serve Vincentians for generations to come. To think, work on this transformative initiative began as far back as 2010 with the combination of the Port Rationalization and Development Study, and then concluded with a final master plan in early 2015. A subsequent rescoping study was conducted between 2016 and 2017, followed by a final feasibility study, the development of a front-end engineering design, after which an international tendering process took place, then a construction phase. To know, 3 years ago, had we stood at this very same location, it would have been physically impossible, since we would have been 10 meters below sea level. This is a testament of not only the transformative nature of this project, but also the level of work and effort that went into delivering this significant infrastructure. Selhorn recognizes our on-site staff, past and present, led by the resident engineer, Mr. Jorg Jeve, all of whom contributed to this project's implementation. Special appreciation also goes out to our home office in Germany, our director, Mr. Norbert Pietz, and all other team members. Special thanks to ACON's Mr. Tam Smith and his team for executing the work with exceptional proficiency and safety. While there were many intense discussions and a few heated ones, the collaboration demonstrated a shared commitment to excellence. Selhorn must also acknowledge the stewardship of Minister Mrs. Banava Brown, the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Yvette Pompey, and her project implementation unit within the urban development led by Mrs. Laura Anthony Brown. Finally, Selhorn wishes to congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Ralph E. Gonsalves and his cabinet on this historical milestone achievement. Selhorn is proud to have played the role of supervision consultants during the execution of this important national project. Thank you all. Happy in attendance and have a pleasant evening.
Let us put our hands together once with appreciation for the representative from Selhorn, Mr. Quincy James. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a bit more entertainment? Yes, let's get ready at this time to bring before you the Performing Arts Society, and they are under the directorship of Ronnie Richardson. Please put your hands together and welcome as they come.
You know it is. You know we go. You know. Falling on the soul, jamming in the party, and you're waiting on me, pushing everything right back on top of me, yeah. But if you think you're gonna get away from me, you better change your mind. You're going home. You're going home with me.
folk lowered its bats, let's put our hands together in appreciation of the long talent from the Performing Arts Society led by Ronnie Richardson. Ladies and gentlemen, the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have collaborated on several developmental projects and other investments which align with this country's national priorities. This is the second largest capital project undertaken by the government in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank and other stakeholders. In this project, approximately 110,000 Vincentians will benefit from improved access to modern and efficient port services. It is now the turn of the Vice President of Operations of the Caribbean Development Bank, the CDB, Dr. Isaac Solomon, to address us.
Baby, you mad me, you got me going insane. Everything you do is a madness. You got me floating, baby, you're sadly, 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 you're sadly.
Your Foreign Affairs told me that it is bad to observe the protocol that was already established. So I'm always conflicted. I don't know if the playbook has changed, but Dame Susan, I'm going to ask your permission to breach the protocol, to observe the protocol that was already established. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to acknowledge some family and friends I see in the audience. I don't see you very often. So, good evening. It is both a privilege and a pleasure to stand before you this evening on behalf of the President, management, and staff of the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, as we celebrate the official opening of the modern Kingstown port, a project that represents not just a major national achievement for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but a regional milestone in sustainable infrastructure development. The honor and pride of this moment is one that we should all remember. Ladies and gentlemen, this official opening of the port is a monumental event on a journey filled with courage, foresight, and a spirit not normally bestowed on the faint at heart. It is a project filled with history. You will recall when I spoke at the groundbreaking ceremony, I was about to say on this very spot, but Quincy said I would have been 10 meters underwater. So somewhere around here, I did say that this project was the largest project ever approved by the Caribbean Development Bank in its 53 years history at that point in time. It's no longer the largest project, but it is significant enough for us to recognize that. Today, this facility stands as a tangible demonstration of what is possible when vision, partnership, and perseverance converge to promote holistic development and transformative social and economic change. It marks a new chapter in the modernization of this country's transport and logistics infrastructure, strengthening the foundation for trade, economic growth, and resilience, both here in St. Vincent and in the wider Caribbean. How do you really achieve a landmark investment like this one before our eyes today? This, I consider, is the power of moving as one. How many times did this unification prove to be critical and indispensable on the journey here? I want to begin with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are heartened by the port crews and other workers, the builders, local communities, small businesses, and so many who have been involved in one way or the other. You are the heart of this transformation. The government, which had the vision of revolutionizing its infrastructure so as to capitalize from the expansion of global maritime trade, strengthening its position to command the space of a hub, and fulfilling its commitments to mobilize and invest public resources. The main development partners, the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund, and specifically the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, for the grant financing of $34 million combined with $110 million loan from the Caribbean Development Bank, which we supplemented this year with an additional $20 million. The seeds of this success were planted early. The bank's role commenced at a very early stage with the CDB-funded port rationalization and development study in 2015. Which helped to inform the modernization and expansion of the Kingstown seaport. And through the Transforming Caribbean Port Industry study, which was done even earlier, CDB's knowledge and advice was very instrumental in shaping what we witness here today. In fact, our president, Daniel Best, who regrets not being here today, says that he cut his eye teeth on this project. The project means a lot to him. He invested a lot of sweat equity to get this project through some of its most difficult stages. That being said, this project remains one of the best executed projects in the history of the Caribbean Development Bank. In total, CDB contributed $164 million to this project, a significant investment in port infrastructure to foster a strong ecosystem for enhanced resilience, enabling trade, and boosting national productivity. This level of investment also reflects the bank's strong confidence in the government's vision for inclusive, climate-resilient development, and in the vital role that maritime infrastructure plays in enabling trade and national competitiveness. We recognize that the challenges facing our region, from the climate crisis to global economic shocks, require bold, coordinated action. But today, we stand before this magnificent port. We are reminded of what can be achieved when we act together, guided by a shared purpose and a commitment to resilience. For CDB, we want all investments in development to offer endless opportunities to touch lives. So building the port was more about building the future. Ladies and gentlemen, you will hear a lot about the features and strategic importance of this port, and the bank is certainly excited by all of them. But allow me to emphasize one thing that is central to the bank's ethos. We recognize that each block, each length of steel, and other materials which helped to construct this facility contributed to the building of that future. As the years roll by, we want to always recognize the proud history of this project and to celebrate this port, celebrate what the role this port will play in setting up the nation to thrive. This is not a static infrastructure and system. It is meant to build the future, catapulting foreign investments, leaps in connectivity, building a future of sustainability, one in which jobs and businesses multiply and growth is inclusive. Importantly, and I think Linsky mentioned this earlier, the facility has been designed and constructed with resilience in mind. The infrastructure takes into account projected changes in weather patterns, storm intensity, and sea level rise over the life of the port, all factors associated with climate change. Environmental safeguards have also been integrated into the design. For example, the port's drainage systems are equipped with water and oil separators to prevent contaminated water from entering the sea. In short, this is a port built for the future, one that embodies the principles of sustainable climate resilient development that lies at the heart of CDB's strategy. As such, it is absolutely important that the port industry, meaning all of the stakeholders, adheres to the principles and practices of inclusion and gender equality, and to be truly human-centered. We have started. Linsky spoke about the females who are at the top of this project to get it here, and he also spoke about the number of females who are employed on the project. And we must not forget the necessary port and policy reforms, including improvements in the ease of doing business reforms, which must go side by side with the port infrastructure investments. We often say the sky is the limit, but I have to say that with the advent of this new port, the sea offers boundless opportunities. By volume, over 80% of international trade is seaborne. The prediction is that global port infrastructure market size will reach around $276 billion by 2034. And there's growing competition over key maritime gateways. Where does that leave the Caribbean? As a lead development partner in this infrastructure market industry, the Caribbean Development Bank stands with its borrowing member countries in their pursuits of future-ready port infrastructure. Since its inception over 50 years ago, CDB has provided over $489 million in financial assistance to this country, representing roughly 10.5% of the bank's loan portfolio. These resources have supported initiatives across nearly every sector, including agriculture, fisheries, tourism, energy, water and sanitation, housing, education, and transportation. Our collaboration in the transport sector, exemplified by the Kingstown port, complements ongoing engagements in coastal and sea defense, energy transition, and community development under the Basic Needs Trust Fund. Together, these interventions contribute to the government's broader agenda of building a more inclusive, productive, and climate-resilient economy. As we look to the future, the CDB remains committed to working alongside the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, supporting your efforts to strengthen infrastructure, empower communities, and accelerate sustainable growth. CDB extends heartfelt congratulations to the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on what they have accomplished at this moment. We commend the project management team and all those engineers, contractors, community members, and public officials whose dedication and collaboration have brought this vision to life. And as I said at the project groundbreaking in 2022, we are confident that we will deliver this modern port and ancillary services in a spirit of cooperation and partnership, and we look forward to commissioning the new facility. Friends, that moment has come. I think I can speak for everyone here that we are incredibly excited about the rapid evolutions to come. Let's continue to move forward as one. I thank you very much. Happy Independence in Vincent and the Grenadines.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands once more together in appreciation of the contribution of the Caribbean Development Bank to the modern port in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This modern port, ladies and gentlemen, has been made possible through a grant from the United Kingdom government under the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, UK CIF, which provides grant funding for climate resilient infrastructure projects to encourage growth and to support improved livelihoods, poverty reduction, and safer condition for residents. I'd now like to ask to address us Mr. Simon Mustard, British High Commissioner of Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. Please welcome Mr. Mustard.
Got a busy job tonight. Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I would also like to observe all protocols. Thank you to the Master of Ceremonies. But I would like to acknowledge Her Excellency, the Governor-General, the Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Ministers and Members of Parliament, Vice President of the CDB, thank you for your kind words, Dr. Isaac, to representatives of all the contractors and consultants that have worked on this amazing project, members of the media, diplomatic corps, international partners, and of course, the wonderful, vibrant people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a pleasure to be with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here at the culmination of years of dedicated effort by my colleagues and predecessors, working alongside the CDB and our regional partners to strengthen the resilience of our Caribbean partners and colleagues, including here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My congratulations to the government and to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on this remarkable achievement. This port is more than just a piece of infrastructure. It's a gateway to growth, resilience, and opportunity. It is a symbol of the partnership between St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and the UK, and what that partnership can build. We are proud to have supported this transformative project, both through a direct grant of over $35 million US, but also via our work as one of the biggest shareholders in the CDB and through the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund. This contribution does not need to be repaid. We invested to ensure that the project was more affordable and the benefits reached Vincentians directly. We have worked together with our friends at the Caribbean Development Bank and with the government, and together this partnership has delivered the second largest infrastructure investment in your country's history, over $250 million US. This is a powerful statement of confidence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And already, as many of the previous speakers have said, we're seeing the impact. Over 500 construction jobs created, with 2/3 filled by local workers, including many women. Over Eastern Caribbean, $100 million injected into the local economy, supporting small businesses, vendors, and service providers. Enhanced border security, thanks to the wonderful mobile scanner you can see parked here tonight. And a boost to international trade, which, thankfully for me, includes nearly $50 million US in exports to the UK last year alone. These figures reflect just one part of a broader investment, and it's a clear sign that the benefits of this project are being felt now on the ground and not just on paper. This port is built for the future. It's built to support the next 30 years of growth, the next 30 years of jobs. It is forward-looking not only in scale, but in its climate resilient and inclusive design. Our partnership, of course, goes beyond concrete and cranes. We have partnered on health, retrofitted hospitals to withstand hurricanes, and supported local medical staff through the NHS Exchange programme. We've partnered on energy and helped the government make its buildings more efficient. We're also partnering on culture, working with brilliant young local artists, including a songwriting camp that's now producing hit music across the region, some of which I'm sure we'll hear later this evening. And we've partnered on trade. We've supported Argyll International Airport and helped it reach new standards that fit with the UK and EU and trading partners, opening new markets for local producers. As we celebrate this milestone, we also look forward to continuing our collaboration on future phases of the port's development. The UK remains committed to supporting St Vincent and the Grenadines to build infrastructure that empowers communities and grows the economy and provides employment for many, many more people. This port is a symbol of what we can achieve together when we invest in people, in partnerships, and in progress. As we sail into tomorrow, quite literally sail into tomorrow, I want to thank everyone who's made this possible, from the engineers to the brilliant divers, to the vendors, to the local visionaries, and to all of our partners. This is your success. And to the people of St Vincent and the Grenadines, may this port serve you well, bring prosperity to your shores. Thank you. Do enjoy the celebrations this evening, and may I wish you a happy Independence Day on Monday when it comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we of course have to put our hands together in appreciation of our funding agencies. So let's put our hands together once more for the British High Commissioner of Barbados. And our program, according to our program now, we're expected to have another form of entertainment. At this time, I'd like to invite the Progressive Realism, a group of 10 actors, and they will be giving us a special presentation tonight. So please enjoy.
Now pick up SVG, that's a place to be. This is the rude white girls along with the original ABC. Now come down and sing about the country.
Sunrise, can look at the sunset, sweet mother nature, such beauty, such splendor, can live my life without fear, freedom to go anywhere, you got love, and you got peace, from La Soufrière to the Grenadines, I love you SVG, my sweet little nation SVG. I love you, SVG, home of the blessed SVG. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, I love you.
God bless Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, God bless.
Ah boy, let me go clear my crates and see. Hopefully it does not take long today.
Right?
Good day, good day, good day.
That way?
Come, my friend,
Alright,
come.
thanks.
You come to this woman here, right?
Yes.
Let's see the way you, friend,
I'm
what's
to
your
the
name?
the entrance for the boat.
Good morning, miss. Good morning. Can I please see your papers? Here you go.
Ah, boy.
Do she good day? Do she good day? Yeah. You take down fast. There we go.
Boys, wait there for you, boy. Oh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Friend, come. Come on, you gonna. Wait, think of them. Come.
All right.
Alright,
Of
to the lady
course,
over there.
of
She'll give
course.
you your
Yeah.
pass and she'll take you
Yeah.
to customs.
All
All right,
right.
thank you very much.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good morning, good morning,
Hi.
good morning.
This is my first time here, you know. Thank you, but space in here a little limited, a little hot.
This is next stop over here.
Better conditions for such a long time, and we still waiting for better.
Well, they go.
Please have your customs papers.
Oh wait, give me 1 minute.
Morning.
Good morning.
Can I please see the paper document?
There you go.
Thank you.
Mr. Twine, give me 5 seconds. Let me find your barrel. Hold this.
Sir, I came for a crate today. Not
Oh,
a
a
bag.
crate?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
People are
Mr. Twine, I'm sorry, but we gave away your barrel.
Right over
I'm
there.
sorry,
That's
Mr.
great, sir.
Twine.
Is that
So
great, sir?
take this paper back up to the front desk, and they will find whoever found your barrel or who will give away your barrel.
Sir,
Thank you.
What you mean you give me my arm crate?
Mr. Twine, we make a mistake. Sorry, go back up by the desk. Sorry.
Of course,
They
8.
give me my crate, man. They give me
Not
my
1,
crate.
not
Jen.
2. 8. Okay, hold on. My ID.
Every time you come and pay, you have to go buy so much different desks just to get one crate.
Hey, first. Come here.
The lady must get through first. I could wait.
Thank you.
Miss, you feeling the seat?
So I moved from here to here, and I have to go over here now? I didn't know I was walking a marathon.
Morning, come.
Hi. Here you go.
Miss Fashion.
Hi.
Okay. 8 barrel. Motto. Hold on there. 8 barrel for you alone. All right.
Get that 8 barrel. First time, right?
Okay. All right. So here's just you're going back, so they could give you the gate pass to go and clear your 7 barrels.
So, wait, what?
Your 7 barrels.
No, it's 8.
8 barrels.
Yeah.
I went wrong and I only saw 7 barrels.
What is it?
Huh?
It's 8.
8.
Yeah. Can
8.
you could read?
Oh, 8 did it, but only 7 came in.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, they need to take it up to your insurance company.
Which insurance company?
Oh, my bad, not insurance. Hey, me are frustrated.
Ollie, playing in here and I don't...
Huh? So go back to the front desk.
Go back to the...
Go back to the front desk.
Excuse me.
Oh, come, morning.
Excuse me, miss.
Okay.
So, they're telling me they only
You
have
want
7
some
barrels,
Acan?
And I'm picking up 8.
Sorry, but no Acan in here.
Deal with that for me, please. 1 minute, ma'am. Deal with that for me, please.
All right, go back by the desk and they will give you your barrel to clear. Back to the front desk.
Thank you, miss. Something wrong with your walker over there.
Hold on for me, please. Let me try and see if I find some.
Your barrel ain't reach yet, sorry.
Thank you so much.
Your barrel not reach yet, sorry. Go ask your people them.
Imagine, we struggle come here and see. And we still a struggle. Don't worry about that, miss. Miss, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's okay.
Go on with he.
Go on with he. Go on with who? Go on with who? Excuse me, please. Listen. 8 bars, babes.
You again,
Mix up. Me again.
miss, I told you. Only 7 barrel inside of the room.
Listen to me, sir.
Don't put your back point at me desk. Take them off, miss.
This is my first time here. Oh.
Take your back off of my desk, okay? Take that up. 8 barrel. There's only 7 barrel in the storeroom. Me not eat it for sure.
You think I care? You better go find the 8th one.
Miss, I only told. Hello? I'm so frustrated.
I don't care.
Me a sweet nonsense. Miss, only 7 of your barrels there.
Father God.
Don't call God name here.
Ooh. Miss.
Please.
Miss.
Crazy people.
Miss, listen to me, right? I'm a bit frustrated.
The blood sugar flying up all things.
You know, one step and I could mask somebody.
You know what? I can't take this. My head was cooler because my blood sugar is up here. We can't handle this.
So not only I can't get my thing them, all the workers walking out, all the understaff in their hats. Give me thank you. Thanks. All the understaff in here cramp. I hot, I thirsty. All the last one me back. My name the beg about banana. What all the gateway? All you better find that today.
Kabalanuga haruga wawa seruba la wisiani wa badinagwa la uluba fuabureme.
Modern gateway to the world. Can you hear the rumble as the sea? We may have no more grumbling as we reach a higher height. Can you hear the rumble as the seas bow with delight? We may have no more grumbling as we have now reached a higher height. Sustainable development flows on the waves below. Every single industry has the opportunity to flourish and grow. We can feel the rhythm of our country pulsating through every vein. We remember the jazz, but rejoice. Pandemic passed through. The strength of a nation, well tested, and our love grew. One God, one country, and the Vincentian people acting as one. From progress in the sky to this new seaport, proof that every Vincentian has won. We win the opportunity to move from third world to fourth world status.
True.
Proof that we are not better than anybody, but nobody is better than us. A modern nation built from love and strength. A will to move forward and one that cannot be bent. We have a country to build and mold. Feats so daring, the world wonders how come we are so bold. With every ship that docks, a piece of history is set. Step by step, every policy and infrastructure, millennium goals are being met. Let our resilience, our spirit, and cultural pride guide us through the night. For progress and sustainable living, we always will fight. Economic development to build a whole data and a vision for the future. We jump over every obstacle we meet. We are ever elated to be sitting in a progressive seat. Let this new port be a testament to our Vincentian might. We are now levitating, reaching on another height. A modern gateway to the world and opportunities it may bring. With every opportunity, it is our national anthem. We will sing.
Kapalanuga haruga wa seruba la wiseni wa badinakwa la uluba fuabureme.
Hey. Hey, are you come? We receive great news. We get port. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, come here, dog me heart and tell all the great news. Are you not here? The port so big that I will get space so run up and down. Hey, now just that alone. Me head and get machine for scan out the gun them. Hey, a big port again. Hey, Walker. Me, I know I'll be frustrated. The heat, I know acre. Hey, the port get acre for all of Vienna. But here it is. Me get in for more news and come back. Oh.
DMPOC, come to Vinci. Oh, DMPOC, come to Vinci.
Oh, the MPOC, coming to Vinci. Oh, the MPOC, coming to Vinci.
Start to wave, start to whine, start to jump, Vinci marching non-stop. Start to wave, start to whine, start to jump, Vinci marching non-stop. No sweeter place like Vinci on air. St. Vincent, my homeland of Bible. Intentions of every creed and race.
It's no longer coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It is definitely here indeed. As we continue, I'd like to invite to address us, the representative from the Canadian firm Acorn Group. They were awarded the contract for works on the Kingstown Port Modernization Project. They mingled with and transferred their skills to all Vincentian people. They didn't limit their expertise to the port, but became an integral part of the Vincentian society, working along with several community-based organizations and groups, such as the Lions Club St. Vincent South to provide equipment to renovate a home, EcoSVG Alliance, a non-profit, to provide equipment, and volunteers to assist with tree planting, just to name a few. Vincentians have been trained and certified to operate large cranes and other sophisticated machines and equipment thanks to Acorn. Let's give a resounding round of applause as we invite to address us Mr. Marty Harris, Executive Lead and Senior Vice President of Acorn Construction Group, to address us.
Yep, thank you.
But it's depending on the fight you're on now. And when you come and be with me, love knows I'm bringing.
That's good.
And if you come, you're gonna bring my soul out. And then we'll
Good evening, everyone. Adopting the protocol already established, but I would like to say good evening to the Prime Minister, other members of the St. Vincent government, including the Ministry of Urban Development, Energy, Airports and Seaports, other dignitaries, consultants, partners, and members of the St. Vincent community. Once again, I am pleased and honored to represent ACON and our over 10,000 employees as we now celebrate this opening of this new Kingstown port. I'm also happy to be here on the eve of your Independence Day, and congratulations again for that achievement and the 46 years. It has been a little bit more than 3 years since we gathered here to launch the construction of this important piece of infrastructure, and it has been an incredible journey to get to this point. At that time, we committed our company and resources, partners and suppliers to construct this nation-building project to serve the people, businesses, government, and international trade stakeholders of the St. Vincent and of the Grenadines for decades to come. During our journey, we've faced our challenges, from the delivery of materials to technical challenges, and most notably, Hurricane Beryl, that caused significant damage to the country and to the port during construction. Some of these moments were tense, but all of the parties were singularly focused on delivering a world-class project for St. Vincent. And with the collaboration of all of our partners and our friends in the St. Vincent government, we were able to work together to overcome these hurdles. We told you 3 years ago we would succeed on this project, and we're here now to prove it. But while we built a port, we also built lifelong relationships and friendships that will live past this construction project. Our employees have become entwined in the community, and we have been proud to sponsor many clubs, schools, the women in construction efforts, and we hope will have generational impacts on the community. As many of you know, ACON is Canada's leading construction and development company, and we have played a role in building many of Canada's and other countries' infrastructure landmarks, including the iconic CN Tower and the Bermuda Airport. And now we can proudly add this project to that list of achievements. I would like to thank Prime Minister Gonzalez for his vision of the project and entrusting our company to build it. He has been a fixture on this project as much as many of our own employees, and we are happy to hand over the port to you and your government. I would like to thank personally the chairperson of the steering committee, Ms. Laura Anthony Brown, for her passion for this project and the tireless efforts to keep us all on track. I would like to thank Lenski Douglas for his work as the assistant project manager as well, and his collaboration over the last several years. He has been instrumental to the success of this project, and we wish him all the best in his new role at the Caribbean Development Bank. I would like to also thank all of our partners, subcontractors, material providers, and consultants which have contributed to this project. I would like to thank our project director, Tam Smith, and the rest of our ACON team who are sitting back here, who drove this project with passion for their work, a keen technical skill set, and sheer perseverance. I also want to thank them for their efforts during the relief efforts for Hurricane Beryl. After the hurricane hit, and within hours of being able to get back online, our team here was on the phone with myself and other senior leaders within our company to have a discussion, not about what to worry about the port, but what we needed to do for the community. Our team raised over $100,000 for restoration efforts and donated immense number of personal hours to aid in the rebuilding of Mairu. Thank you to my team and to all those who aided in the recovery. Finally, I would like to thank the people of St. Vincent, to those that came and joined our team in the construction efforts, but to also those who provided us restaurants, homes to rent and live in, and those that supported us through sheer goodwill. We would never have been able to do this project without you. We know these relationships will extend past this project, and we look forward to other areas in St. Vincent where ACON can lend our expertise in the continued prosperity of this country. We are honored to hand over this brand new, state-of-the-art, climate-resilient port to the government of St. Vincent. Thank you.
Her name is Wisdom, and she's more precious than rubies, diamonds, and pearls.
And first she shall lead me by the roadside. Then she shall cause fair and true.
Our next speaker, in June of 2023, assumed the chair of the Ministerial Council for Trade and Economic Development, co-head of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, and has been one of the youngest CARICOM ministers to serve in this capacity. She also played a pivotal role in securing St. Vincent and the Grenadines' pro tempore presidency, the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, SILAC, for the period 2023, and served as chair of the SILAC Foreign Ministers. Please welcome to address us the Minister of National Mobilization, Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs, and Persons with Disabilities, the Honorable Kisal Peters.
I fell in love with good, no, I fell in love with your waistline. Up close and personal like you want to FaceTime. I feel in your energy, like this baseline. Kinda shy but the lick off your breathe. Rock out and girl come out to so take the green light. Spotlight, video light. It's your time to shine, darling. You shine, darling. So take the front line. I do it for spite. It's your time to shine, darling. Every man balling, woman, you're spectacular. Tell me how you pass up to tell you what.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Her Excellency Dame Susan Duggan, Governor General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mr. Duggan, Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Mrs. Gonsalves. My sister, Senator the Honorable Benava Brown, Minister of Urban Development, other members of Cabinet, members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of the contractors and project partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Tonight, as we stand on the threshold of a new era for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we observe an era defined by progress, resilience, and transformation. The opening of this modern port project is more than the completion of a major infrastructure development. It is a bold declaration that our nation is ready to meet the demands of the changing world and to seize the opportunities of the future with confidence, capability, and vision. This modern port represents a gateway to growth, connecting our small islands to markets that are global, strengthening our trade and logistics capacity, and positioning St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a strategic hub in the Eastern Caribbean. With enhanced efficiency, safety, and technologically driven operations, this facility will attract more shipping lines, facilitate smoother import and export activity, and reduce the cost of doing business. But beyond the concrete, the steel and cranes, beyond the ships that will dock here, this project is about people. It is about Vincentians. Beyond its economic importance, this project also embodies a profound story of human and social development. When the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph E. Gonsalves, embarked on this initiative, we understood that national development must go hand in hand with human and social development. That is why, as part of the port's construction, we ensured that the residents of Rose Place, West Kingstown, affectionately known as Bottom Town, were not left behind. The relocation and construction of 47 modern housing units for the families of Rose Place at a cost of approximately $5 million Eastern Caribbean marked one of the most significant social interventions in our recent history. For decades, these families lived under difficult circumstances, vulnerable to flooding, sea surges, and limited access to basic amenities. Today, they live with dignity, in safe, comfortable homes with proper infrastructure, utilities, and community support. This is what true development looks like. Not just economic advancement, but empowerment and upliftment of people. The Modern Port Project and the Rose Place housing development together stands as a testament to what visionary leadership, careful planning, and compassion can achieve. They symbolize a government that builds not only infrastructure, but also hope, opportunity, and resilience. I stand here this evening as the daughter of a former Port Authority worker by the name of Elroy Stry Peters of blessed memory. And I also stand here as a former Port Authority scholarship recipient. So this moment is also deeply personal for me. It was through that scholarship that I was able to pursue my secondary and tertiary education, to grow, to serve, and ultimately to stand here today as a minister of government, witnessing the transformation of the very sector that once invested in my potential. So when I look at this modern facility, this port of progress, I see not just infrastructure, I see the symbolism of legacy, opportunity, and continuity. From my father's years of service on the docks to the investment that helped shape my own journey to this proud day when we open a modern port built for the next generation, this moment comes full circle. As we celebrate this monumental milestone, let us recognize the hundreds of Vincentians who contributed to its realization. The engineers, construction workers, public servants, and community members. Let us also acknowledge the patience and understanding of the Rose Place community, who have journeyed with us through this process of renewal and change. This port is a promise fulfilled, a promise of modernization, inclusion, and progress. It stands proudly in Kingstown, but its impact will ripple across the nation, creating jobs, driving investment, and strengthening the foundation upon which we continue to build a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Together, we are not just opening a port, we are opening pathways to prosperity, to opportunity, and to a brighter future for all Vincentians. I take this opportunity to wish all Vincentians happy 46th Independence Day. May God continue to bless St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you.
Put your hands together for Senator Peters, Minister Peters, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together once more for Minister Peters and for her presentation. At this time, we'd like to bring a group of dancers to do a piece entitled Building the Future. And these are dancers from the Arabist Dance Company, La Gracia Dance Theater, Poetic Heart Dancers, and Rooted Methodists. Please put your hands together as they come, receive them, and let us enjoy their presentation here tonight.
I've heard there was a secret chord, the David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair, she broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
waistline. Up close and personal like you want to FaceTime. I feel in your energy like this baseline. Kinda shy but the liquor have you breathe. Broke out and girl come out to so take the green light. Spotlight video light. It's your time to shine, darling. You shine, darling. So take the front line and do it for spite. It's your time to shine, darling. Every man balling, woman you're spectacular. Tell me how you pass to tell you I had to. Woman you're spectacular. Tell me how you pass to tell you I had to. Cause when you move it sweet, you hook me there, hook me. You make all the lights go dim and your waist calling. Baby move it sweet, you hook me there, hook me. You make all the lights go dim and your waist calling. Now you show me your grave, right up on your case, yeah. I wanna play with them thoughts in your head, it ain't no pretend. Please don't get me wrong, this feeling is so strong.
I could only imagine what it feels like to be covered under that. It's so much heat outside of that. But let us give them a round of applause. They'll come back a little bit later on. So yes, we need to give them a round of applause because it couldn't be easy being under that for so long. Today's opening marks a huge achievement for the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and more so Senator Benava Brown, the youngest member of the cabinet of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This transformative infrastructure project will improve and enhance operations at the port. I am confident we're all proud and excited to hear from Senator Benava Brown, under whose ambit the building of this project was carried out. I'm pleased to invite to the lectern to address us Honorable Benava Brown, Minister of Energy, Seaports, Grenadines Affairs, Local Government, and Urban Development. Please welcome Minister Benava Brown.
I think so. Good night, everyone. I would like to accept the protocol that has been established. But of course, I must acknowledge a few persons in the audience. Her Excellency the Governor General, Dame Susan Duggan, and Mr. Duggan. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Honorable Gonsalves and Mrs. Gonsalves. Honorable members of Cabinet and Parliament representatives. Representatives from the Caribbean Development Bank, representative from the UK, representatives from other partners, officials of Aecon Construction and Engineering, members of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority, distinguished guests, members of the media, fellow Vincentians at home and abroad, welcome. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice in it. Today, on the 25th of October, we gather to celebrate one of the proudest milestones in our nation's modern history, the official opening of the modern port facility in Kingstown. This is not just an opening, it's a rebirth, a moment that affirms our collective will to build a resilient, forward-looking St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The port is a symbol of what vision, planning, and partnership can achieve. It signals that our nation is ready to trade smarter, connect faster, grow stronger with a modern, competitive, and many-sided post-colonial economy. This achievement can be traced back to March 2026 when the government approved the Port Rationalization Master Plan, a study that charted the course for a modern climate-resilient port infrastructure. Working with the Port Authority and the development of ministers, we sought a solution, and the development partners, we sought a solution that would be technically sound, economically feasible, socially inclusive, and gender responsive. And I'm proud to say that we have presented this solution here to you today. From blueprint to completion, this project has embodied resilience, technical excellence, and inclusion. Before one single pile was driven into the ground, the government made sure that fairness guided development. The project was not about displacement, it was about upliftment and inclusion. The Rose Place residents were resettled into modern climate-resilient homes at Lomans Bay. Fisher folks were compensated and provided with areas to ply their trade. Vendors and small businesses were supported in the transitioning so that no one lost livelihood. This is how development should be done, not at the expense of people, but in partnership with them. Every stage of this project reflects this principle: progress with compassion, growth, and justice. It is fitting that we pause to acknowledge the Honorable Julian Francis, who's here with us today. Former Minister of Urban Development and Ports, under whose leadership construction began. His persistence and expertise guided this project from concept to groundbreaking. Today we salute you, Uncle Juju, for the foundation you helped to lay for this moment of pride. Thank you very much. This port is not only intended to expand our trade capacity, but also our human capacity. At peak construction, over 140 Vincentians, which represented more than 70% of the workforce, were employed. By mid-2025, 135 million EC dollars had remained locally within our economy through wages, services, and procurement. Young Vincentian gained skills in engineering, heavy equipment operation, logistics, project management, just to name a few areas. These skills will now power future national projects. As operations commence, hundreds and more opportunities will open in the shipping industries, customs, logistics, ensuring that our people remain at the heart of the progress. The modern port also stands as a climate-smart flagship for the Eastern Caribbean. It is built to endure sea level rise and severe weather with robust coastal defenses and efficient drainage. It advances our renewable energy agenda. The solar system, which is installed on the roof of the admin building, will allow the port to generate part of its own electricity and reduce dependence on the national grids, saving over 170 tons of CO2 emissions per year and enhancing the port's environmental image as well as modern and sustainable facility. This is practical climate action, infrastructure aligned with environmental stewardship. This achievement also reflects the strength of our partnerships and the unity of our purpose. To the Caribbean Development Bank, we extend our deepest thanks for your leadership as executing agency and for ensuring strong governance and quality. To the government of the UK, we express profound gratitude for their partnership through the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund. This grant channeled through the CDB was the financial foundation for this project, enabling us to pursue world-class climate resilience design without burdening future generations with debt. It is a model of how global partnership can be done and provide real benefits to small islands. To ACON, for your precision and professionalism, thank you. the consultants, local subcontractors, facility, because of the Port Authority and the ministry staff, whose training and preparation ensured seamless operations. You are ready to take full control of the port, and we are grateful for you. This partnership is real. Global support with Vincentian delivery. With this new facility comes a new era of management. The modern port operates company will manage and operate and maintain this port with professionalism, accountability, applying digital systems and world-class logistics. Alongside it, the foreshore development will redevelop the old Kingstown portlands into a vibrant, people-centered waterfront with vendor plazas, parks, and cultural spaces. Together, they will drive both trade and urban renewal, ensuring that this port unlocks the next chapter in our Vincentian or in our urban renaissance. Freed from the old industrial footprint, Kingstown will be reimagined as a green, inclusive, and creative city, a capital that celebrates its people and its Caribbean character. Over the past week, hundreds of Vincentians have toured this facility, workers, business owners, families, and this morning I had the privilege of welcoming students from across our country, whose excitement and curiosity filled with hope. Those students, I say, this is your future. We built this for you, so your generation can go further than mine did and previous generations. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, your leadership and your belief that small nations can achieve great things have brought us here, Prime Minister. The port joins the Argyle International Airport, the education revolution, our housing and energy programs as pillars of the modern Vincentian society. And Prime Minister, I'm happy to announce to you that we currently have our first ship, our first customers to this modern port floating just outside of our shores, Prime Minister. So operations will begin immediately. This facility belongs to every Vincentian, every worker, every farmer, seafarer, student, entrepreneur. It was financed through partnership and built by Vincentian labor and designed for the Vincentian progress. It stands as a national symbol of resilience and achievement. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is open for business, open for opportunity, open to the future. Let's own the future. As Minister for the responsibility for urban development, energy, seaports, Grenadines affairs, and local government, I am deeply honored to have walked this journey with so many dedicated professionals and citizens. To our partners, once again, thank you very much. To the Honorable Julian Francis, we acknowledge your early stewardship and dedication. To the Vincentian people who believed in our vision, this is your achievement. Today, we do not simply open a port, but we open a gateway to a new era of opportunity, sustainability, and pride. May this facility stand for generations as testaments to what we can do together. Thank you so much, and may God continue to bless St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Happy in 46 years of independence.
Give it up and put your hands together for the Minister of Urban Development, the Honorable Benava Brown. And Minister Brown, I certainly look forward to the further transformation and expansion of the eastern and western ends of our central business district of Kingstown under your watch. We made a call earlier for the dancers and there was a slight mix-up, so what we're going to do, we're going to bring the dancers at this time, and after the dancers we're going to have a video which we're going to share with you. So immediately after the dancers, please feast your eyes on the screens around the ground. Please show your appreciation for the dancers as they come back. Guarantee that everything has been sorted for this round. They say good things come to those who wait, and it was truly worth the wait. Please put your hands together for the dancers from the La Gracia Dance Theater, Arabist Dance Company, the Methodist dancers, and let me just tell you who's the other one, the Poetic Heart dancers. Ladies and gentlemen, please feast your eyes on the screens. show the current image on screen. It's not a part of the time lapse, but beautiful image nonetheless. Put your hands together. From then to now, ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly significant. No words can express our appreciation for the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, led by Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, for the conceptualization and build-out of this project. Each brick laid, every idea shared, every ounce of sweat shed has culminated into this grand day. On a previous occasion, ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves described today's opening of the modern port as laying the foundation for the further advancement of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What a transformation it has been. I'd like us to stand and invite to the lectern to address us the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, for the featured presentation at this evening's opening ceremony.
SPG, my homeland, you gave me no mansion, no boat, no diamond, yet I love you a million. All the things that you have to offer is more than my heart's desire. Lovely beach.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairperson, Your Excellency, the Governor General and Mr. Duggan, Cabinet and parliamentary colleagues, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the spouses and delegations, specially invited guests, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are gathered here in their thousands, and those who are listening and viewing us through all the various modern media platforms. Today is a day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be happy in it. As happy as this day is, I first must ask us to raise our prayers to our brothers and sisters in Jamaica who are currently facing an immediate peril, the peril of Hurricane Melissa. I want to express our solidarity with the government and people of Jamaica. And I want also especially to say to our students who are at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus, and those who are at the University of Technology in Jamaica and other institutions, and Vincentians living and working in Jamaica, I want you to know that our thoughts are with you. And I ask that we send up to Almighty God our prayers for their safekeeping, for their comfort, and for their lives and living. It is my duty to report on this matter that yesterday I was in touch with the Vice Chancellor at the University of the West Indies, Sir Hilary Beckles, who informed me that the university has taken superb precautions and put all necessary and desirable measures in place for the safety and protection of our students in residence at the university. And that those Jamaican students who had accommodation which is of a particular quality to withstand the ravages of a hurricane, to go home so that spaces could be made on the campus for other regional and international students of the university to occupy them in safety. He reported to me that the principal of the campus was working with all the university authorities to ensure that all goes well, as is humanly practicable when faced with an impending hurricane. I have been in touch over the last 2 days with the president and vice president of the Vincentian Students Association in Jamaica. And just before I arrived here, in fact, while I was at the gate, I was speaking first to the president and then to the vice president. They assure me that thus far they're okay. Naturally, there are anxieties. I have spoken to several parents who have students there. As we celebrate here this evening, I ask you presently, quietly, to send up a prayer for all the people of Jamaica and our students. I shall keep in touch with them. And the issue is not always the danger of the hurricane itself, but in the aftermath. We lift them in our prayers. I want to begin with thanks to a number of persons who have done so well in this project. And if I leave anyone out, please forgive me. I was determined this evening not to prepare a speech, because this matter is a noise in my blood. It is an echo in my bones. I want to begin by thanking all those who have gone before us, who have been on this project. And it would have been a very emotional moment for Benava Brown, because her father, Bentley Brown, who has left our earthly city, he had been involved in the very early stages of this project. I also remember Kisel Peters' father, who worked at this port, and she is now a member of the cabinet and who works very well with the people of West Kingstown, where this port is located. We thank Julian Francis, who has done tremendous work in preparation. I want to remember Sir Vincent Beach and Sims Martin. I will tell you this. On the day, August the 13th, 2008, when we returned from turning the sod at Argyle, where we commenced the building of the Argyle International Airport, I was in the bulldozer moving away the first set of dirt and trees. And when we arrived back at the office of the Prime Minister, and Vincent and Sims were with me, we were all in a very good mood. And because we had started something transformational, the Argyle International Airport, I said to them, we must begin very shortly to engage the Caribbean Development Bank in discussions for the building of a first world modern port. And they said to me, comrade, you're a real crazy man. We just start the airport. I said, the airport is on its way. It will be done. We have to begin to conceptualize for the building of the modern port for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want you to remember what one of the speakers said before. Quincy from Selhorn, our own Quincy James. He spoke about the first study which was done in 2010. But for that study to have been done in 2010, we approached the Caribbean Development Bank late 2008, early 2009 about this particular project. And they financed that original study, and there were several other studies subsequently, which took us to the point where we are today. If you have to do anything which is transformational, you begin to think about it for a long time ahead of its actual accomplishment. If we had awaited the conclusion of the Argyle International Airport, which opened in February 2017, we would have been in a terrible position today, given all the ravages of climate change and the deterioration of Port Kingstown and the limitations of Port Camden Park. St. Vincent and the Grenadines would have been a terrible backwater. You have to think way ahead. When we laid out the plan to build the Argyle International Airport in 2005, you may recall that there are persons in this country reminiscent of Sanballat and Tobiah of the Ammonites, who had conspired against Nehemiah, the Hebrew prophet builder, in his rebuilding of the city walls of Jerusalem, which had been broken for 112 years. They conspired, they mocked, they were in anger, they did terrible things. But the city walls of Jerusalem were rebuilt. And when we laid out the plan in 2005, I want our visitors to know this. There are people in this country, always those who are steeped in learned helplessness, advise me publicly, repeatedly, that since I'm a madman, and I would not myself check myself in to the mental health center, they would make an appointment with Dr. Debnat to assess the state of my sanity, because nothing could have been built at Argyle International Airport, nothing at that site. Well, it's there, and it has opened the development of this country. When we said in 2002 that we are going to have by 2030, on an average, one college or university graduate per household by the year 2030, they said only someone steeped in arrogance could conceive of something for 2030. That I am unlikely to be alive in 2030. And in any case, since my government was likely to be a one-term government, I'm truly insane. Well, I'm here in the land of the living in 2025. I don't know whether I'm going to be here in 2030. But many who predicted my early demise, I have lived to see, sadly, that they have gone to the great beyond before me. When you dig a pit for somebody, dig one for yourself too. And I say to you, in owning our future, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, its stage of development, all we have accomplished over the last near 25 years. Our next target, overall, is to build by 2040, within a 15-year period, a first world country of a special type in our Caribbean civilization. In 2040, if I'm alive, I will be 94. I will not be in this job. But even if I am not there with you, if I do not reach that stage of an earthly promised land, I have it in my head, in my mind, what it would be like. And if I do not reach there with you, I want you to remember that we have embarked on this process. And please, do not falter. Work together, and we will achieve it for ourselves and our children. The most I can do is to give you of my knowledge, my experience, my wisdom, and my judgment. You have bought in to our vision, our policies, and our programs for the last near 25 years. And I ask you, in making your choices sometime later this year, that you continue to believe in that vision and for us to work together to achieve mighty things for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want to thank, first of all, the people at Rose Place and elsewhere who had occupied structures for their living, which amounted 47 families. The value of their properties, all told, the structures which they had, was under $300,000. And we built for those 47 families a project of $5 million. And I want the British representative to hear this. I want the CDB to hear it. I want the government and people of Taiwan to hear it, because they have been the financiers for this project. That we were concerned about human beings, and we built a housing settlement valued at $5 million, Eastern Caribbean, and gave them the keys for their houses. 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms for absolutely no charge whatsoever. I have asked the Honorable Attorney General to make the necessary arrangements for deeds to be made, deeds of gift from the government to be made to these people whom we have relocated to Lomans. And I want to thank them for their cooperation. I want to thank also for the cooperation of the vendors who were at the seashore. And we compensated them. And they too cooperated very well because we did so generously and in consultation with them. I want to thank the financiers, the Caribbean Development Bank, which, as is well known, at the time when they approved the $110 million as the major financier for this project, it was at that time the largest capital project that the CDB had been involved in for over 50 years. I reasonably suspected that the CDB would have come to us magnificently because I made them feel a little badly that they didn't have faith in us on the Argyle International Airport. They themselves thought that, I know that privately they probably thought it was a species of madness that anybody could build an airport there. And they stood askance from us. But they came up trumps and they acted with solidarity for us in this institution, which was founded in 1970, which St. the Grenadines was an original member, and which our founding father, Robert Milton Cato, made sure that we put ourselves on the marker, on the ground floor of the Caribbean Development Bank. So I want to thank the Caribbean Development Bank. I hope you listened very carefully to the speech of Isaac Solomon. Isaac said that this project is one of the best projects that the CDB has been involved in its entire life. Over 55 years, or about 55 years. In fact, yesterday, when the president of the bank, Daniel Best, called me and expressed his regret not to be here, because Daniel was personally involved in the early stages before he became president of the bank. But unfortunately, he had to be engaged with the Prime Minister of Belize in Belize, and I understand that. But I'm very happy in one sense that he didn't come, because Isaac, our own flesh and blood Vincentians, homegrown, was here to represent the Caribbean Development Bank as Vice President. Now remember this. Isaac said to us here, one of the best projects in the CDB has ever done in his life. Daniel told me yesterday, the president, in his view, this was the best executed project in which the CDB was ever involved. But while the Caribbean Development Bank is saying that, the descendants of Sanballat and Tobiah of the Ammonites was saying that this is one of the worst projects ever, and where we are standing up now would sink by the end of August. Remember that. Just remember that. I want to thank the British government. You know, we are all compromises through the fever of history. It is well known that the British settled and conquered our country in 1763. It is also well known that the British committed acts against humanity by engaging in large-scale genocide of the indigenous peoples, the Kalinago and the Garifuna, and that they were involved in the barbarism of the enslavement of African bodies, and that colonialism was not a thinking machine, and it was not endowed with reasoning faculties. It was violence in its natural state. But through the fever of history and what has transpired over the last 200 and something years, Britain and the British people have been made compromises. And we too. And today, thankfully, we are in wonderful partnership. And not that we forget the past, but we do not live in the past. The present is the past. But of all time, we human beings, the only time that we have to desecrate is the future. And the British and ourselves have determined that together we will cooperate and not contribute to the desecration of the future. I want to thank the British government. I want to thank especially my friend, the former Prime Minister, David Cameron, under whose leadership the Caribbean Infrastructure Fund was established. And the British will tell you, as they have told me, that this project, this one, is the poster child of the Caribbean Infrastructure Project. That when they talk about it, the project, and questions are raised as to the success of the project, the first thing they say, we will take you to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and see the modern port project in Kingstown. That is the poster child of the Caribbean Investment Infrastructure Fund. So the CDB says, if you believe Daniel Best, the president, is the best CDB project. If you believe our own Isaac Solomon, who is more modest in assessment, he says one of the best. If you ask the British, they will tell you this is the best of the projects of the Caribbean Infrastructure Fund. But if you ask the descendants of Sanballat and Tobiah of the Ammonites, they will tell you something entirely different. And then I come to Taiwan. This magnificent exemplar of the Chinese civilization. They have been our friends for years, since 1981, when our visionary founding father of our nation, Robert Milton Cato, led a delegation and established relations with Taiwan in August 1981. Now, this is a country of 23 million people. And I want you to hear this. I want the people of the world to hear this. 23 million people. They have the 6th largest foreign reserves of any country in the world. You hear me? They got a lot of money. 23 million people, you know. You have countries which are several times larger, with many more millions of people. But Taiwan, in foreign reserves is number 6. And it is the 22nd largest economy in the world. We do not get in any fight or pick any fight with the People's Republic of China. What we ask for is that there be peace across the Taiwan Straits. And what we ask for additionally, that there must be no bullying of Taiwan. We don't like bullies, whether from the north, south, east, or west. And we will raise our voice in international fora in that respect. And we want everyone, every country on God's earth to recognize the right of self-determination of peoples. That principle, as far as we are concerned, is inviolable. And it doesn't matter how powerful you are. If you can bully Taiwan into submission, and there are 23 million people, why can't somebody else bully us and we are only 110,000? I want you to understand this. The handprint of Taiwan is across many development projects in this country. They put $63 million in loans through the Exim Bank in this port. They put $125 million in a soft loan out at Arnesville. And they have put in the region of $80+ million, a little more, 50 of which is in grants and the rest in loans. In these 3 projects, they have gone over $200+ million. I want to recognize especially Ambassador of the Republic of China on Taiwan in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she's in the audience. I ask her to stand, and for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to give her a rousing applause to show thanks to that great country for coming to our assistance. Now, I want to thank the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for providing a loan to the Port Authority for the acquisition of the equipment. The Bank of St. Vincent, which has been transformed from its original state, and the government owns 63% of the largest commercial bank in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you, the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want you to recognize something, that what is happening in this port is unique in financing. As far as I am aware, this is the only place, certainly in the Caribbean, that a development bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, in which mainland China is a non-borrowing member, worked in partnership with a bank from the Republic of China, Taiwan. We are friends of all, and we strive for a better world. We work with the Republic of China, Taiwan, with the Republic of China, Taiwan in all our diplomatic work. And we work with the People's Republic of China in a functional way in the World Bank, in the IMF, in the Caribbean Development Bank, in the Group of 77. When we were president of CELAC, President Pro Tempore of the Community of States in Latin America and the Caribbean, and we had the summit here, I invited the president of China, because the bulk of the countries in CELAC have relations with mainland China. And the president sent his personal representative. And it was a wonderful evening when we had the opening ceremony at Bukament, at Sandals Resort, because the personal representative of the president of the People's Republic of China, mainland China, enjoyed the cultural performances. And one of those cultural performances was a dance in which one of the dancers was the daughter of the ambassador of Taiwan to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So you notice how St. Vincent and the Grenadines does it? Peace in this land, we just want similar peace across the Taiwan Straits. A friend of all, and we strive for a better world. I want for you to recognize something. You would have seen here tonight, and you heard very distinguished professionals from our country. You heard Carl James, the former head of the Port Authority and now the Chief Executive Officer of the Modern Port Operation Company, the MPOC. He is a Vincentian born. He was trained in Cuba in mechanical engineering. He is a child of the education revolution. It is an amazing thing. A fantastic professional. And we have a link. In my gap year before I went to university, I taught his father, who was then a young teenager at Bishop's College in Georgetown. You notice how the links are? In fact, when Benava Brown was 3 years old, I used to visit her preschool and do magic at her preschool. Now we do magic together in the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. She used to call me Uncle Ralph, now she calls me Prime Minister. It's wonderful, eh? Wonderful. Isaac Solomon, an extraordinary man from very humble family like Carl. Before this, on which Quincy was involved, was the Modern Medical Diagnostic Center which we built in Georgetown. And it was not surprising to me that when Selhorn, the esteemed consultants on this project from Germany, saw the quality of Quincy, that they will rope in Quincy and have him here as their man on the ground to provide the consultancy services on this project. Another Vincentian. And then Linsky the Great. What can we say more? He is a pearl greater than the tribe. Extraordinary young man. The Caribbean Development Bank has poached him from us. Let the region enjoy his immense skills. But Linsky was not only critical from a technical standpoint in the project management implementation unit within the context of the steering committee headed by the indomitable Laura Anthony Brown, also Vincentian, who was director of planning. She was acting director of planning when I arrived in office, and she was made director of planning, and we worked together on many things. We took her out of retirement to head the project, the implementation. And you would have remembered on radio that every time the assorted descendants of Sanballat and Tobiah of the Ammonites, when they came on the radio, Linsky will just go on or write something in the newspaper or give interviews to the press, and with clinical scientific analysis, put every single one of their objections to bed. For example, those who said that the port was going to sink into the sea. He explained why that is just foolishness. When a problem arose, the clutching issue, he said, listen, this is not really unusual in projects this side. And the standard engineering which is to be done is being done. You may recall that when Akon wanted sand from the sandbank outside of Argyle in the sea, you remember the number of overnight environmental scientists who were paraded by the descendants of Sanballat, Tobiah, and of the Ammonites. Remember that? That if you touch anything there, they would be, the airport would wash away, Stubbs will wash away, Brighton will wash away. And that what I was doing in selling the sand to Akon, who have done a magnificent job, and I want to thank them. We sold them the sand for $20 million Eastern Caribbean, you know. I thought we got a good price. And I believe they got a reasonable price too, because it would have cost them a little more if they had gone elsewhere for transportation costs and the like. So it was a win-win for both sides. But they said that these places would wash away and that we will alter the nature of the sea. It's a fishing ground. You know, Linsky, what Linsky did with amazing skill. Linsky had a video of the seabed. He simply said, it cannot be a fishing ground because there is no plant life at the bottom. And if you don't have any plant life there, you will have no fish. He said, it could be that we have fish transient. They swim across it, but there is not a fishing ground. They said it will take 15 years before the sand is replenished. Right now, the sand has been replenished. Didn't you hear him? And there are people who are coming to us and asking if they could buy sand from there. Chris Ralph, who deals with matters like this on the Atlantic coast in the United States, he said, the fellas, He said even the experts, Ralph, who tell you it would take between 3 to 5 years to replenish, they don't have experience of the Atlantic. He said within 12 to 18 months, the sand there would be replenished substantially or completely. And Chris has proven to be right. And Linsky, thanks very much. Actually, Linsky's speech is so amazing. You saw, I took his speech because I want it published. My security officer thought this was my speech. He brought it for me, but this is Linsky's speech I have in my hand here. Up to June, July, it was being said, and I have to talk all of these issues because I wanted people to understand how some individuals are against progress so much. I have concluded that it is rank bad-mindedness and a thirst for power. And it's getting worse because at the moment, as the old Calypsonians say, for them, is last train to San Fernando. If they miss this one, they wouldn't get another one. Last train to San Fernando. I want the diplomats to know that I'm talking to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not to them. Not to them. Not to them. Now, as late as the month of June, July, their spokesmen on science and technology were saying that by the end of August, this thing will wash away. Where we are now standing, it should have been water again. And here we are, with all the experts and the evidence before you. We have a magnificent port. A magnificent port. A gateway, one of the technological advances, one of the infrastructure projects, which is helping to lay the basis for our ascent towards the status of a first world country. By the way, Isaac, diplomats, for those who may say, okay, Ralph, what about human development? Because you must have that, not just the infrastructure. I want you to look at the 2025 Human Development Index report put out by the United Nations Development Program of the United Nations. The data used is 2023 data. That is data after the volcanic eruptions of 2021 and after Hurricane Elsa of 2021. And also after COVID. And you know where we are? We are in the top tier of the high level of human development. The top tier. Out of the 193 countries in the United Nations, we stand at number 76. Up to number 74 is in the very high category. You have very high, high, medium, and low. We are in the very high, we're in the high category. Just 2 positions below the very high category. The first 74 countries in the United Nations are in the very high category. Number 75 is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Number 76, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Thailand. Thai first place, number 76. Number 77 is mainland China behind us. When I said that first, there was bewilderment by some people. I said, just look at what the UNDP report says. To get into the very high category, Isaac, you have to score across a composite of the indicators, 80%. Or, in their language, a perfect value of 1. We are 0.798. In other words, 79.8%. We are just on the cusp of being in the very high level of human development. In 2001, when I arrived here in office, we were ahead of Haiti and Guyana. We are still ahead of Haiti and Guyana is moving rapidly because of oil money and gold. But we are ahead of Jamaica, Suriname, Belize, Dominica, St. Lucia, Grenada, and of course, Guyana and Haiti. We are ahead of 8 countries in CARICOM. So we are having the infrastructure, we are having the human development, we are having the education, we are dealing with the applied science and technology. And over the next 15 years, believe me, if you accept what I am telling you, and there is no contravention, objectively at all, you follow what I'm saying to you, even though I'm not there with you in the flesh, in 2040, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is on course to become a first world nation of a special type in the tropics, in our Caribbean, in the further ennoblement of our Caribbean civilization. We set our sights on that. Elections have choices. There are some people who tell you to give them a chance. Well, I have transformed the lotto from an institution which had only $10 million in revenue when I arrived. It's now has annual revenues of $100 million. If you want to have a chance, if you want to take a chance, go and play the lotto. Play 3D or play Scratchy. If you want a chance. The lotto is there. Now, how are we going to put this project within the context of the further development? Let me tell you what is taking place. First thing, the second phase of this project, in which we are involving the Caribbean Development Bank and the state funding guarantee agency from the United Kingdom with a financial entity. And the Minister of Finance, Camilo, has already organized these resources. We are going to build on the western end of this city, just down the bottom here, we are going to build a Grenadines and regional port system. The Grenadines Wharf is up by the old port. We have to move it, and we're going to put it down here. So further developing West Kingstown and Rose Place. We have a program for developing the western end of the city and the eastern end, and in between too. But I'm dealing with the western and the eastern, in which this is involved. Just outside of the perimeter here is Little Tokyo. We have the resources already, the designs have been made, and we are going to rebuild Little Tokyo completely. Very early in the new year, we are starting that. Further, the government has purchased the properties on the right side going down below the gas station, the Co-op gas station. You see the buildings there, the 3 buildings? Those properties are owned by the government. We have 13 units of informal settlers there. I say units because we have assessed it. In one of them, there's only one person, and then there's some other families. Our Ministry of National Mobilization have done the assessment, and we have identified lands, and we will be building homes for all of those 13 units and giving them their key. And that area is going to be developed. We are going to develop further the hospital, because the $125 million which we borrowed, US, for the acute care hospital at Arnesville, that money contains a sum to further develop Milton K2 when we move to the acute care hospital, because we are maintaining the accident and emergency section at the hospital, and we are keeping the pediatrics and the obstetrics and gynecology, in other words, children and women. And we're going to physically improve the building. But we can do that only when we make the move. We're going to improve the Kingstown Clinic, because the people who built that originally under the previous administration, if you are a 6'2" person, you go inside there to bend down. They build the thing to short the space. And then we know that Rubis is seeking planning permission, which I support, for the development and making safer the facility at the gas station. So that's a whole area of development there. On the eastern side of the city, where the old port is, we have a lot of real estate of amazing value. And our vision for there is coming to fruition. There's a global company which deals with ports. They have been meeting with Carlos James and his team, Minister of Tourism. I have met them 3 occasions before, and on Friday we had a meeting to finalize some terms. I have a draft agreement which I'll be studying over the weekend. And I set a timetable somewhere between the 7th of November and the 12th of November for us to have a signing. They are going to invest around $70 million in 2 phases. First, to develop the existing cruise ship terminal, and then across to have an additional cruise ship pier, can dock 2 large cruise ships with some wellness and touristic shops attendant to the development of this cruise ship facility. And behind that, we ourselves, we are going to get a private sector entity to build a boutique hotel. We ourselves are going to build a state-of-the-art cultural center, a center for the performing arts and training and education in that regard. And we want the buildings close to the road as you enter the complex of the Prime Minister's office, that building. You know, there are several buildings along there on reclaimed land which was reclaimed by the Milton K2 government. I want to see alterations in those buildings. We might have to knock them down and rebuild so that we'll have modern, beautiful buildings there, providing a range of facilities suitable as we evolve towards a nation with a first world status. And then, We have mapped out already a preliminary study to build a tunnel under Cane Garden Point. When I first raised that issue, and Julian raised it too in the House, the opposition said that it's a tunnel vision, they laugh, it's a joke. Well, I'm accustomed to that. That's how they started with Nehemiah, started to mock. You remember when Nehemiah started to mock and he and the Hebrew people united and they have a vision to rebuild the city walls around Jerusalem after they had been broken for 112 years? They said if a fox run up the wall will fall down. You can read about it in the book of Chronicles. The history is there. They mock. But just like how they mock us here and they mock us at the airport and the Rabika Bridge and the modern medical complex and the education revolution, let them mock us about the tunnel. I only ask you, Vincentians, when you go in my constituency in North Central Windward, and you pass Byra going to Chester Cottage Gate, go underneath, when you drive under the tunnel. That tunnel was built in 1813. That tunnel was built by some enterprising Englishmen and enslaved African labor. They used dynamites, pickaxe, shovel, and wheelbarrow. That is over 200 years ago. That tunnel from where the cruise ship pier is now to where it comes out at Arnesville is about 3 times, maybe 4 times the length of that Byra tunnel. If a few Englishmen and enslaved African labor with dynamite, pickaxe, shovel and wheelbarrow could build that, what can we do with modern technology? We will build a 2-lane roadway there to help the traffic coming in and going out of Kingstown and to make the link with the modern city which we are building out in Arnesville. First, by a first world cricket facility and with a first world hospital which we are building there. And we have a plan. We already have the concept. We have accepted the concept as to how we are going to do the city. Provide the infrastructure, all the requisite infrastructure, lease the lands for particular development purposes and housing. And I want to say to the residents, housing for professionals, townhouses for young professionals. The informal human settlement, which is there at Pole Yard. I was looking for land to put all of them one place. But I can't find the land to put them in one place, so I'll put them 3 or 4 different places. And I will build houses for them and give them the keys, just like I did for the people at Lomans. I'm giving you the vision. I'm giving you the vision. There are lots of other things in the vision, but I wouldn't talk about those. I only talk about in Port Kingstown. Kingstown and Arnesville, how they are connected and how this port is located within that overall vision. I want to say to you, if you watch how we did this work, when I heard people talking about the Port Wine Washway, this and that will happen, the worst things were said. We set up a structure. Laura Anthony Brown was heading the steering committee and with technical people like Linsky Douglas. We also had an in-house consultant. Then we had the external consultants in Selhorn who did a splendid job. We had a top-notch company, Acon, to do it. We had oversight with CDB. How could you go wrong? We had our own state engineers looking at them. We had the port looking at them. But I want to tell you, I said something just now, and I want you to bear with me. When we went to the parliament for the additional $40 million for the equipment after we build the port, you know, the parliamentary opposition opposed the bill. They said no. And I'm sorry the leader of the opposition had to go to another function because I wanted him to hear me on it, as he will hear me repeatedly in this forthcoming election. Because let me tell you this man who you see here, I ain't weary yet, you know. You know? Never mind what they say about me. My back broad. You lick me up, you knock me down, I'm a hard man for dead. So I want them to understand. You are going to see a free and fair election. The mother of all elections are about to take place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I will not embarrass our guests by calling the date tonight. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't embarrass them. A patience and a calm. Day by day, sweet Jesus, as a countryman, it's not long rope does hang cattle, you know, it's short rope. And the rope is getting shorter by the day. Shorter by the day. I'm giving man and woman a lot of rope. And then I go pulling the rope. No. So I asked them in all seriousness in the parliament, you opposing this bill? Because the bill was about a guarantee by the government for the Port Authority to borrow $40 million. They said they ain't supporting. I said, but you build a house, you have to put a bed in it. You're going to sleep on cardboard? What are you going to do? You're going to use coal pot? You're going to get a stove? Yeah? You're going to use an ice box? You're going to get a fridge and a deep freeze? Your children don't want to watch TV? You have to get the equipment. And we were guaranteeing it because the port was putting down $10 million of its own money, which it had saved. And by us guaranteeing it, and Isaac as a banker knows that, the government guaranteeing it, the rate of interest will be lower, cheaper, the money will be cheaper. What could stop you from supporting that? Yeah? When we did the Argyle International Airport, they said the problem is that you don't have a reputable agency like the World Bank and the CDB. Now we had the CDB. They had no reason. And then, in this project, we had said to our financiers that we were going to alter the institutional arrangements. We did studies for it, you know. And after you finish the studies, you have to put what you're going to do in legislative form. So we went with a bill called the Port Restructuring Bill at the last sitting of the Parliament to do three things. First of all, to provide the framework for the modern port operating company. Secondly, to provide the framework for the establishment of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Foreshore Development Company to develop the foreshore, as I've just described it to you with the cruise ship, additional cruise ship project. And amending the Port Authority Act so that the management and ownership of the port becomes separate from the regulation of ports in St. Vincent by a regulatory port authority, like how all modern countries do it. Let me tell you what happened in the parliament. The Minister of Ports went and presented the bill. And Madam Speaker, who is here, then said, is there any further debate? I saw members of the opposition cuddling with one another. And I thought they're cuddling to decide who is going to talk, what they're going to say, even though they should have decided that before. But I'm not unaccustomed to that kind of ill preparation from them. That's how they normally function. And they sat down. None of them said anything. The speaker just repeated, is there any further debate? Any further debate? And I told Benava, let's wind up the debate. We have other work to do. So they didn't say one word about the restructuring of the port. Not one word. They didn't say yes. They didn't say no. They didn't abstain, as we say in Connery, where the Governor General and I come from. They didn't say que. Then I say que. An abdication of responsibility. Though I was very happy to see that the leader of the opposition came here, though I do not know whether that was out of redemption or just an opportunity. It's not for me to decide. It's for the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines to decide. Hear me this. When we got the money from the decision of the British government, we got that money from Dave Cameron. Money to be put in the Caribbean Development Bank. To show you how serious governments operate. And this is a serious government. And Isaac, you would have watched it. The British would have watched it too. The Taiwanese would have watched it. We had COVID. We had volcanic eruptions. We had Hurricane Elsa. We had droughts. The people in the Ministry of Finance, the officials, when money got tight, they came to me, they say, Prime Minister, we have $35 million. We can go to another source to get that money. But additionally, these pressures, urgent ones, let's ask the British government for us to use that money to finance those things. I said no. You know when that money was withdrawn? During the time of Richie Sunak. So you had Cameron. You had Theresa May. You had Boris Johnson. You had Elizabeth Truss. And then you had Sunak. 5 British prime ministers. And we didn't touch the money. You know why I didn't touch the money? I want the women here to know this. They came with all kind of reasons. I say, I am following the financing arrangements in every household in St. Vincent, followed by women. When man wants to spend money, woman always got something in a handkerchief put aside. Sometimes they put it in a pillowcase. Sometimes they put it in their trunk with some treasured things with camphor ball. I say, I'm putting this in a trunk with other things with camphor ball for when I'm ready for it for this port. Because this was part of the vision. I say, we will survive. We will get resources elsewhere to deal with volcanic eruptions and Hurricane Elsa and all of those things. This is what you call focus. This is how this thing has come about. I want you to know that the judgment calls which you have to make on a daily basis in juggling things. I say to you what our parents taught us. Children and fools must not play with edge tools. And government is an edge tool. In these difficult and challenging and perilous times, including what is happening in our Caribbean and what is taking place in relation to Venezuela. All the convulsions taking place in the world which coming upon us. All the fragilities and vulnerabilities of our country. This is not the time to take risks. This is not the time to take chances. Government is not about serendipity. You don't take chances. Government is serious business for serious people, as we have demonstrated here with this project and several other projects over the last near 25 years. I have led this country through your grace and favor, and I'm honored and privileged. And you have been guided by the hand of Almighty God. I have been your Prime Minister for nearly 25 years of our 46 years of independence. I don't have, at my age, any more vanities. I don't have any hang-ups. I have sought to do my best. I've sought to do my best and committed to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You have known me since first I entered the electoral fray 46 years ago, after independence was achieved. We have gotten to know each other very well. You know how I think, I know how you think. And I know that you and I are on the same wavelength for progress. And we are together in love, a particular love, a love which is so steadfast, an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. We are in solidarity with one another. I find resonance in the book of Jeremiah. Before you were born, I knew you. God is talking to Jeremiah. I made you, I blessed you, I sanctified you, I set you apart. And I declared you a prophet. For Jeremiah, it was the Hebrew people. Each of us, in one way or the other, is set apart. We have come to this the mind. But I am here today in the land of the living, and I have something to do with it today, tonight. That's a fact. You can't wish that away. They said that nothing could be done without them. Our forebears and all our descendants. That genius resides in them for the further development of this country. And you need leadership which is not lazy. You don't need leadership which is weak and indecisive, and leadership which is fake. You need leadership which has energy and will, vision and skill, and an X factor. The X factor is to pull out of the people their genius, their hidden resources, matters which are submerged, but to pull out those resources. What is good and noble in people, sometimes what they do not as yet know that they possess. You pull it out for developmental purposes, for individual and family development. Thank you, everyone. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. All that we need, thy hand has provided. Great is thy faithfulness. See you on Sunday evening at afternoon at Madongo Festival. See you on Monday night at the Independence Parade at Arnesville. And see you in a different capacity at Richmond Hill on Tuesday night. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his presentation. I'm sure that this day will be forever etched in our hearts as a reminder of what collective dreams, commitment, perseverance, and hard work can achieve. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Carl James, the Chief Executive Officer of the, let's look for this one, Carl, of the MPOC to join the Honorable Prime Minister, and those who are charged with the responsibility of the symbolic ceremony. I ask that you bring, right, there it is. So please feast your eyes on what's going to take place. I'd invite Minister Benava Brong as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the symbolic ceremony for the opening of the modern port in capital Kingstown. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Carl James. The fireworks, a symbol of the grand occasion for which we are here at the modern port in Kingstown. In just a short while, we're also going to see another transformation that is sailing into tomorrow. We're going to see canoes, small boats, fishing vessels. The Coast Guard is also there. So please feast your eyes as we expect to see a grand showcase following the theme, sailing into tomorrow, after which we'll have the vote of thanks.
Soon as it touch on the stage, come right away. Blue, yellow, green, and red. Give me some breadfruit, jack fish. Let me eat it, eat it. If you love it, the music, put your hands up. I say, jump up. If you love it, the music, put your hands up. I say, I was born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud.
Fireworks, ladies and gentlemen.
Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud.
Make sure you capture every moment of it.
Together, have fun. Come to me, take you home. Music from me, I can tell you, I no joke. I love this island, that is home. That is home, that is home, that is home now. When we see the playing a game, we take it the whole crowd. From the Shandy in the game, you don't know it's goal now. And we not slow down, march it through the whole town. I was born for this, I was made for this.
Are you loving it?
I am pretty, I'm real proud, born for this.
Let me hear you put your hands together if you're loving the fireworks.
I am pretty, I'm real proud. I am a Vinci Vinci. I am a Vinci Vinci. I am a Vinci Vinci. A Vinci Vinci. I am a real Vinci. A choo choo Vinci. A real Vinci. Vinci Vinci. Jump up. If you love Vinci music, put your hands up. I say, jump up. If you love Vinci music, put your hands up. I say, I was born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Vinci, let's turn up the place and I see young and nice and the people are waiting on snap. Rather be beating the steel band around me playing the string. Soon as we touch on the stage, come right away. Blue, yellow, green, and red.
We're gonna sail into tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to the boats.
Eat it, eat it. Eat it, eat it. Eat it, eat it. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Real proud. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Carnival in the air, yo. Take the cat on the rain now. Good energy in here now. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Vinci, let's turn up the place and I see young and nice and the people are waiting on snap. Rather be beating the steel band around me playing the string. Soon as we touch on the stage, come right away. Blue, yellow, green, and red. Give me some breadfruit, jack fish. Carnival in the air, yo. Take the cat on the rain now. Good energy in here now. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Vinci, let's turn up the place and I see young and nice and the people are waiting on snap. Rather be beating the steel band around me playing the string. Soon as we touch on the stage, come right away. Blue, yellow, green, and red. Give me some breadfruit, jack fish. Let me eat it, eat it. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, jump up. If you love the music, put your hands up. I say, I was born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud. Born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud. I love my home. Celebrate 44. Together, have fun. Come to me, take you home. Music from me, I can tell you, I no joke. I I love the island, that is home. That is home, that is home, that is home now. When we see the playing a game, we taking the whole crowd. From the Shania in the game, you don't know it's cold now. And we not slow down, marching through the whole town.
I was born for this, I was made for this. Ain't got no shame. I am pretty, I'm real proud, born for this.
All members of the Cabinet of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, could the members of the Cabinet of St. Vincent and the Grenadines join the Honorable Prime Minister just at the front of the stage? Could the members of Cabinet who are present join the Honorable Prime Minister in front of the stage, please?
I was born for this, I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud, born for this. I was made for this. Ain't got no shame to say. I am pretty, I'm real proud.
Similarly, the CEO of the MPOC will also ask the representatives from Selhorn, Akon, CDB, Linsky, Laura Anthony, Brown, the chairman of the Port Authority, Russell, and please remember not to leave. We have quite a lot of entertainment in store and you really won't want to miss it. So please stick around. And we have the vote of thanks as well. So I invite you to stick around. So the first is with the cabinet and the second will involve all the regional and international partners. The representatives of Selhorn, CDB, Akon, and all the other regional and international partners, the British, to join the members of cabinet with the Honorable Prime Minister, the CEO, Carl James, Linsky Douglas, Laura Anthony, the Chair, Mr. Russell,
I'd rather be the busy girl by my side. I tell them all the while, we don't have no gold in our oil. But we have wonderful people rich with beautiful smiles. From the hills to the mountains, high, high, high. Every man, every woman, every child. If you're proud to be Vinci, put your hands up high. And let me hear you say, this island is mine. Jump and say, jump and say. So if you're looking for me, don't worry, you can find me up in the hills. I'm doing it the Vinci way.
And ladies and gentlemen, in all things we must give thanks. Today's ceremony was nothing short of spectacular. And to bring this event towards its conclusion, I believe a token of gratitude is in order. And I'd like to invite Mrs. Sophia Clouden, the marketing manager of the Kingstown Port, to move the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I too would like to adopt the protocol that has already been established. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Modern Port Operations Company, it is my honor and privilege to extend heartfelt thanks on this truly historic occasion, the official opening of our new modern port. Today marks more than the completion of a project. It marks the beginning of a new era in our nation's development, one built on vision, resilience, and partnership. First, we express our deepest gratitude to the government led by Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Ralph E. Gonsalves for their visionary leadership and steadfast commitment to national progress. To the Minister of Urban Development, Seaports, and Local Government, Senator Benava Brown, we extend sincere thanks for your hands-on involvement, guidance, and continued support throughout this transformative journey. We also wish to express gratitude to the former Minister of Urban Development, Mr. Julian Francis, for his policy direction and leadership in steering this important national initiative. Our profound appreciation goes out to the Caribbean Development Bank for their vital financial support, to the British government for their generous partnership and cooperation, the UK CIF, Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, for financial support, the Bank of SVG, the Organization of American States, Caribbean Infrastructure Program, for their valuable contribution to the project's planning, technical support, and institutional strengthening. The Republic of China on Taiwan for their financial of directors. We thank you for your strategic oversight and unwavering commitment, and to our CEO and management team, your leadership and dedication have been instrumental in bringing this vision to life. A heartfelt word of appreciation goes out to the residents of the Rose Place and other affected communities who were relocated or otherwise affected during the construction of this port. Your patience, understanding, and sacrifice made this national achievement, and for that, we are deeply grateful. To our staff members, thank you for your resilience and professionalism throughout this transition. You remain the heartbeat of our organization and the ambassadors of this new beginning. We also extend our thanks to our partners and stakeholders, including customs, shipping agents, and the wider business community for your collaboration and trust. And finally, to everyone who helped make today's ceremony a success, the planning committee, security and protocol officers, performance, media teams, and the support staff, we say thank you. Your hard work behind the scenes made this day seamless and memorable. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on this new threshold, let us remember that this modern port is more than steel and concrete. It is a symbol of national pride and collective effort. Thank you for celebrating this moment with us. May we continue to move forward together, stronger, smarter, and ready for the future. Happy 46th Independence, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you.
Tonight's ceremony was more than just ribbon and black. It's about the connectivity, it's about the resilience, it's about the future of the economy and how this modern port will enhance St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is truly a momentous occasion here at the new port in Kingston, where we know that technology meets smart sustainability. Continue to stay connected to the Agency for Public Information to bring you more accurate and updated information.
It's been so many years since I've left my home. Now that I'm grown, I've got to return. Those places that I've been always feel so cold. Despite their hold, it's one thing I've learned. A man who forgets where he comes from will never know where he's going. And all of those foreign places could never compare to the freedom I found on this island. This island. This island. This is my home. I want to tell you that this island. This island. This island. This is my home. Oh, come take me down from the mountains, straight down to the seas, from lush green valleys to the Grenadines. Oh, I build my home on the island. I don't need no skis. I got enough sunshine and cool breeze. This island is home. Woo, love the one. I warming up my throat. Let we have some fun now, man. Let we have a good time. Let's celebrate this momentous achievement. Let we warm up ourselves now, man. Listen. Oh me, oh my pretty baby, don't be shy. Oh me, oh my, I'm gonna tell you why. Oh me, oh my pretty baby, don't be shy. Oh me, oh my, I'm gonna tell you why. You're so attractive, why are you behaving like this? If you've got doubts inside, there's no reason to hide. Oh me, oh my, pretty baby, don't. Oh me. Can I do another one? Do another one. Talk to you, but it's not the same as touching you. Come on, man. And every time you whisper my name, I wanna run to you. We'll be together, oh yeah. It won't be long, it won't be long, but it feels like forever. And a part of this, I want you to help me sing, baby, 'cause I'm and it's driving me crazy how I'm needing my baby. I'm missing you now. I can't wait till I'm alone, baby, 'cause I'm missing you now. Jeez. Warm up now. So I want to see everybody moving. Moving from side to side. Let we have a time. My gosh. Listen, listen. When I walk in the dance with me seam in my pants, when I put on my best,